Minister said that contract for VP's house was awarded in 2010 by President Jonathan's government at the cost of 7 billion naira, and the project was abandoned. That the present government only want to continue to complete the project at revalued cost of 15 billion naira. What is your take on this, sir? And in reference to, let's make reference to especially the budgets that was put out there for newspapers for different government parastatals. What's your take, sir? Thank you.
Well, that issue of the VP's house has been one in which have been called names by people, by the VP himself and by the minister, that I'm talking nonsense because I criticized it and I remain totally on my stand that it is not a priority. It is totally not a priority. You see, I agree it was awarded in 2009, 2010 by Jonathan's government. But what makes a responsible government is that at the time you assume office, you should be able to listen to the people. Governance should be demand-driven. Listen to the people, look at the needs of the people, prioritize the needs of the people. In this prioritization, you may have to abandon what has already been started, looking at the priorities that you need to tackle as quickly as possible. In 2009, 2010, when that project was started, things were not as bad as it is today. If you recall, let me give you an example. In 2009, 2010, a bag of rice is 7,000, 7,500. Today is 60,000. So you have it 8 times worse. And remember, people's salary have not changed. It's a similar salary within this period. And then you have a situation where they have had 8 times increase just using bag of rice. A loaf of bread in 2009, 2010 is between 100 to 150 naira. Today, a loaf of bread for 400 gram is 1,000 naira. So you could see the change. Transport, if you're going from, say, Lagos to Abuja or Onitsha, where I live, to Abuja, in 2010, 2010, you're going to be paying about 10,000. Today, you're talking about 20-something. So everything, if you're those who can afford to fly, it was 15,000 then. Now it's 100-something thousand. So things have changed drastically. In 2009, I bought buses. Some buses that I gave, innocent buses that just in 2010, I bought them about 5 million naira. Today, those buses are selling for something, 50 million naira. So this has changed drastically. We have less than 70 million Nigerians living in poverty in 2009, 2010. Today, Nigerians that live under poverty, World Bank I just reported a few days ago, is 104. Multidimensional poverty have increased to about 140 something. I can go on and on. You can't compare that time and today. Things has gotten worse. There's critical areas. Our inflation have moved from a single digit to now we're almost hitting 30 something because prices of food have gone up drastically. Unemployment in 2009 was about between 10-12%. Today, you have unemployment hitting almost 40. You can see the situation you find yourself. Our GDP per capita have collapsed. Comparably in 2009, 2010, we were better than, we are at par with countries like Vietnam, even Indonesia, Bangladesh was below us, Philippines. But today they've also passed us. Things has gotten worse. So you have to look at your priority, reorganize your priority. You don't go and start doing things that you used to do when you had privilege of eating a buffet, when you have very tiny money to just buy yourself a very basic a la carte. So you go for it. We cannot be talking about building a new house now for somebody who already have a house, or renovating a house, like it's in various budgets where we're renovating houses, not even in Abuja, in Lagos, in this and that and that. You don't need that. If a president or vice president of Nigeria visits Enugu, Lagos, anywhere, for God's sake, if there's no place for him, he will stay in a hotel. When President Obama travels President Biden travels from Washington to New York, he stays in a hotel. Not even in Abuja, in Lagos, in this and that and that. Stay in a hotel for a few days. All these billions we have now should be invested in critical areas of development, which is number one, health, number two, education, number three, pulling people out of poverty. Imagine what 15 billion naira can do to improve our primary health care. Imagine what 15 billion naira can do if you give it to National Hospital to invest in their equipment. Imagine what you would do if you share it to major teaching hospitals of Zaria, Ibadan, Enugu, all. So there's so many things we can use it to do that is important now. Imagine what it can do in our area of education, basic education. Imagine what you can do if you decide to use it to pull people out of poverty by investing it in SMEs. There's so much you can achieve with that. And that is why I said, no, not now. We don't need it now. We can use it for something else that will go a long way in helping the nation. That is my understand by it. You should reprioritize it. I have been in that situation. When I became governor of Anambra State, go ask anybody. We have a big, I think Governor Soludo is trying to complete it now. We have a major project which is supposed to be governor's lodge, government office, everything. When they brought it to me, I said, listen, we can't embark on this for now. We have critical things to do. I recall telling somebody, because within 1 month I became governor, Nigerian Legal Council shut down our faculty of law in our state university. And I recall telling somebody, look at it now, our faculty of law is shut down, and you're talking about going to continue building that lodge. Now, since there's none available, I'm going to renovate what is there presently, renovate the office that is there presently, and go ahead aggressively and see that all these facilities are there. I built that faculty of law, which again will require improvements as time go on. I built it under 1 year just to make sure that those students were not thrown out of school. And there's so many other things that was happening then that we needed to do. We needed to do some critical things, including opening up rural areas so farmers can sell their goods at a better price and everything. Then going to talk about accommodation, renovation, and buying vehicles. So that's what my criticism. And there's so many other items like that in the budget, which, like I said, I'm taking the budget one after the other.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Before we proceed, I would like to appeal to everyone here. Please do well to share this space on your various social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere you belong. Do well to share this space. The more, the merrier. Let's get more people in here. So I'll pass the mic over now to Gloria to ask her question.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pearls, and thank you, Your Excellency, for addressing the elephant in the room. We all know about the drastic changes in the economy. It's no secret that Nigeria is currently grappling with a series of unprecedented economic challenges. Now, some experts have even stated and claimed that Nigeria is on the brink of bankruptcy. If you were in the position of the president, what strategies would you have implemented to navigate these difficulties, Your Excellency?
But even the present government said they inherited bankruptcy. So it's not just some experts. Everybody have agreed that we're bankrupt, and everybody knows we're bankrupt. If you're going to use almost 100% of your revenue to service debt, what else you need to know that you're bankrupt? First is that a bankrupt person has to behave like a bankrupt person. And the first thing you do is to cut your cost. You cut your cost. You do things that shows responsibility of going through difficulty. The way we're going today is not the way somebody who is bankrupt or near bankrupt should be going. I've said it repeatedly. The cost of governance in Nigeria is criminal. There's too much waste. Those wastes have to be cut off. And you've seen me complaining it, whether it's going to United Nations or going to COP in Dubai or doing this. All these things people think is it. I'm saying this because I practice it at a lower level, subnational level, where you have difficulties that you have to manage your resources more efficiently. Ensure that you invest more in productive area in order to be able to manage your situation. Today we're borrowing money. A country in 2007, when President Obasanjo became president in 1999, Nigeria was owing about $29 billion. By the time he left, we were down to below $2 billion. Today, our dollar debt is about 47 billion. And then you have, by the time you add the local currency, we now have almost 100 billion debts in our hand. And we're borrowing more. And you're borrowing this money. The reason why all this borrowed money is not giving us problem is because we didn't invest it. We didn't put it into critical development areas. It was for consumption. So for me, the first thing to do is to apply the brakes on this consumption completely and focus on ensuring that all borrowed money are used in critical areas of development that is productive, that will impact on growth. Because that's the only way you can start turning things around in order to be able to generate more revenue, service these debts, reduce it, and everything. So for me, first is that we have to cut aggressively cost of governance.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Gloria, can we have one more question from the timeline?
Absolutely. Now, prior to the 2023 elections, we know there was an unprecedented surge of adrenaline among the youth in Nigeria and even throughout Africa. And this marked a significant impact on the political landscape. However, post-elections, there's been a noticeable shift towards voter apathy, despondency, and disillusionment. And this brings me to a question from somebody in the audience at Lord Tyrion 4. He's asking, Dear Peter Obi, how are you going to revive and sustain the interest of first-time young voters in the electoral process given the last elections? What do you expect Obedience to do? Are you setting up a system to sustain and build momentum?
Thank you very much. What I'm doing, let me just say it. I wish this is something where I'm speaking to them in video and everybody can see me. And it's just to say to them, I'm kneeling down and begging you, don't get disillusioned. That's what they want to achieve. What they want to achieve is that we get disillusioned and walk away, and they'll be happy. We will continue with what we're able to achieve. In no time, we'll dismantle this criminality. We will be worse off for it. The monies your country is borrowing today, you are the one going to pay it. Most of us who are borrowing it are in their 70s and 80s. If you look at bonds Nigeria is issuing, there are bonds that will be payable 2046, 2048, 2050, 2060 something. None of us will be there. So this is a time from what you have achieved. This is time for us to stay together, sacrifice more. If I tell you personally what I go through, you will say to me, why do you want to continue this? Every single day, I'm going through one form of harassment, intimidation, everything. But I say to anybody who cares, no, there's no way we can abandon this. We must, for the sake of you, the young ones, for the sake of our children, for the sake of humanity, please, I'm kneeling down and begging you, we will stay together until we dismantle this criminality. Nigeria can be one of the greatest countries on the surface of the earth, just like it's all over Africa. But you cannot continue with the leadership we found ourselves today, where people do not care. There's no other country where you have over 50% of its population living in poverty and its leaders are still behaving as if things are normal. We're in a crisis situation. So do not walk away. Let's stay together. Of course, for me, be rest assured, I'm committed to it, and I will be moving around. We've started talking now. I said that beginning next year, we'll move around, say thank you to people, find people where they are, be able to say thank you, and be able to encourage them. I know the journey is difficult. I know that we are starved. I know that we're everything, but please, let's continue.
Thank you very much, Your
Thank you
Excellency.
very much, Your Excellency. So, guys, before we proceed, I would like to make an appeal again. Please and please and please, we have almost 7,000 people here, over 6,000 people actually. Please do well to retweet this space. Retweet this space right now. Let's get more people in here. Retweet, retweet, and retweet the space and share the link to other social media platforms you belong. Thank you, guys. Please retweet the space. Your Excellency, thank you very much for all your wonderful response to the questions. My next question has to do with labor. So how do you intend to reform Labour Party? Because right now it just feels like Labour is like every other political party. So people feel like the old order needs to be dismantled and a reform needs to take place. So how do you intend to do this? Thank you.
Well, let me tell you on issue of labor. You know, Labour Party I'm not directly in control or running Labour Party. I'm just a member of Labour Party like every other person is. Like every other person is. Like every other person is. I'm just a member of Labour Party. I'm not running Labour. I'm not the chairman. I'm not a member of a national working committee. So I don't even have a vote within Labour Party. I've seen people who said Labour Party that if Peter Obi cannot manage Labour Party, how can he manage Nigeria? And I said to them, I'm not in charge of Labour Party. I'm not the chairman of Labour Party. I'm just a member. It has nothing to do with issue of my office. If I'm the president of Nigeria or governor, or like when I became governor, I was in charge. I was able to say, these are my commissioners, these are the things that I want to do. And I went on and did them. In Labour Party, I don't have that type of powers. Everything that happens in Labour Party is done by the managers of Labour, which includes the chairman and his team. But let me tell you, and I'm appealing to people, Labour Party is not our problem. I have passed through party. When I joined APGA, when I was governor, nobody knew anything about APGA. It was just a small party. When we were in court, we had a problem. People were saying the same thing. If Peter Obi cannot deal with APGA, how can he manage, if he cannot unite people in APGA who are quarreling, if he cannot solve it, how is he going to govern Anambra State? When I became governor, it was a totally different show. APGA was not the problem. It became Peter Obi. For example, if today I was in government, Labour will not tell me how to cut costs. They will not tell me, they will not say, oh, we're going to pursue this policy in education. They will say no. If I say we're going to do this to put people out, they're not going to say no. So these are the direct responsibility that would have been able to be achieved if I succeeded. If Labour would not stop it, APGA did not stop me from investing, returning school to the original owner. They didn't stop me from doing what I did, cutting costs of governance, saying that nobody should travel with me, nobody should do this, we're not going to buy a bulletproof car, we're not going to. APGA was not involved. So it is same thing that would have been happening. If I decide to travel to go to, say, United Nations conference with 5 people, Labour is not going to say no. If I decide to go to COP in Dubai with 5 people, Labour is not going to say no. So when people mix up these two things, Labour was a vehicle we all belong. It is an ongoing thing. It is good to reform it, and that is being preached every day. To understand, that this is Labour is not a new party we formed. It is a party that has been there for years with its own distance, and you cannot remove it that it has some similarity with the existing ones. Yes, it is. But if we had succeeded, you would have seen different things. Change comes from a little number of people. If you look at when we are campaigning, you could see faces that are not traditionally partisan. The likes of Atedo side, the likes of Pastor Tommy, Aisha Yusuf, all these people. So it was like bringing people who have like minds and saying, if we succeed, who would have been reforming the country, reforming labor, reforming everything. But like it is, it's an ongoing process. But I don't want a situation where people think, that we must fix labor now in order to get to where we're going. It is all the same ongoing process. Where it is people, a lot of people who supported us, who obedient, who believed in what we are doing, we're not members of Labour. We're just trying to attract them to enter Labour. And again, if all of us enter Labour Party and everything, we'll be able to again change that situation. I've seen people say, Labour is not winning local elections, and because it's not winning local elections, how is he going to win national one? How is he going to do this? Let me be honest with you. I've urged people to vote the best candidates in any party where they are, to best the best candidate. And I've always said Labour management, NWC, you must try to have the best candidates in your primary. I, Peter, cannot control it. If we go to, say, Anambra State, where I am from, to choose who will be our gubernatorial candidate, I have only one vote. I cannot say it will be this person or this person. If we go to Nasarawa State, I don't even have a vote. So you can only talk to people, say, let's elect the best candidate. But that does not in any way say that because we don't have a good candidate, say, in Nasarawa or in Sokoto and everything, that Peter Obi will not be able to do the right thing as president, or people should not vote for him. The purpose of the idea of democracy, like it happens in every other country, that for every election, you look at who is the best candidate for the election, and you vote for the person. When I was governor of Anambra State, I governed with 30 members of House of Assembly that were not from my party. Local government people, when I started, were not from my party. Eventually, they became, because our names they became appointees. But when they were there, when I came, they were not from my party. But I worked with them. The House of Assembly people, I worked with them. And I achieved the results we achieved. And the same thing, if I have 36 governors today who are not from Labour, and I'm the president, I can tell you, I won't even notice them. The programs will unleash. They will be working hard to join. Because by the time they see, the people see what we're doing, which I continue to say, they will join. That's what happened in Anambra State. The House of Assembly people joined when they saw, initially, there was a few disagreements, which even led to my impeachment. But when they saw what I was doing, everybody, in fact, they became my apostles. If you ask them, I recall one of the prominent PDP governors asking PDP speaker and everything. I said, how come 30 of you will always agree with Peter? He said, until you come near and see what this man is doing. Same thing that is happening here. I'm saying let us remain focused on our goal, which is to ensure that the right leadership and the right things are done in our country, Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So, guys, before we proceed, I'm going to appeal again. Let's keep retweeting this space and sharing as much as possible to other social media platforms you belong. Also, remember to ask your questions using the hashtag Peter Obi Unparalleled Facts. Only questions asked using this hashtag will be asked. Only questions posted using this hashtag will be asked here. Moving on, I'll pass the mic over to Ms. Bolanle for her question.
Your Excellency, thank you so much. I'm enjoying your answers. This question I'm going to ask is around the COP 2023 agenda. Right, so Nigeria has not experienced that our economy is driven by cottage industry and SME push towards a zero carbon future by the West to the detriment of economies like ours.
Well, I've answered a lot when I was campaigning and said all this will be negotiated based on our need and our development. We can't just go along with the West that have had an development that we have not achieved, that have put their people out of poverty, that are below 5% unemployment, when we know that the resources or the avenues we need to do that still needs to be developed and will not be achieved if we go along with the agreement. But that needs to be something that we must bring to the table for people to see what we're doing. China and all this wasn't going along with them before. Today, they are doing very well and they are beginning to be part of it because they could see the impact it's having on their own environment. We haven't reached there. We need to do something more. So for me, it would be something we need to be negotiating as we go along to be able to suit us, to be able to fight and improve our situation, which is non-critical. We cannot talk about people are hungry, people need food, people need job, people need this. All this, as we do that, we'll be able to say, well, listen, we agree with what you're saying, but we need to do this in order to get this. We need to do this while managing what will see make our own environment and the global environment better. We have to also be able to do the things that will make us exist.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Please, guys, again, I'm going to appeal. We have over 7,000 people here, which is great. The number here is very great, but unfortunately, we have less than 1,000 retweets. That's not fair. So please do well to retweet this space. Retweet as much as possible. Thank you very much. So I'll pass the mic over now to Gloria for her question.
Thank you very, very much, Miss Pearls. And yes, please, guys, let's retweet the space. Let's share. Let's not keep this space to ourselves. Come on now, let everybody know that Peter Obi is here with us. It's not every day we get this honor. Your Excellency, we know you're extremely popular. I'm talking global level popular. Yet there have been misconceptions about you and your political platform. For instance, considerable discussion regarding your financial dealings have come up. specifically allegations that you invested Anambra dollars in Fidelity Bank and even in your brewery. There have been allegations that you profited from these investments. Could you please clarify these claims and provide your perspective on this matter?
Okay, thank you very much. Two things. One is that first is that no Nigerian, today we're talking about debt in Nigeria. No Nigerian governor ever that I know, maybe there is, that have been able to save $1. $1. Nigeria itself, you heard what the international financial institutions have said about our reserve. That our reserve doesn't even exist. And we're owing $47 billion today. So I want us to start from that premises. And there was no law that compelled Peter Obi to save. No law. In fact, if you go and read my 3 points why I was impeached within 6 months of being in government, it was about all the things I'm talking today. And it is important that I always repeat it for people to know. I was impeached for 3 items and thrown out of office. Item number 1 was my own office. There's an approved budget when I won the case in court against Dr. Chris Ngige to become governor. There was an approved budget to refurbish my office at the cost of 298 million. I did everything with 43,200,000. That was item number 1, why I was impeached. Item number 2 was, again, rebuilding, refurbishing of the governor's lodge. These 2, office and lodge, were burnt because there was an issue, disagreement between Dr. Chris Ngige and some other groups. And they burnt these 2 offices. So there was no governor's office, there was no governor's lodge there. I became governor. So, but there was a budgetary, approved budget to renovate, to renovate the office and the lodge. That of the lodge was 486 million. 486 million. I did everything with 81 million. That was number 2 item why I was impeached. Number 3 item was that because I was saving money. I had gone to the House of Assembly and said, there's no way we'll consume whatever we get from statutory allocation. That this money being given to us comes from a diminishing asset called oil. And it is meant, this money is not meant for us, it's also meant for future generation. So we should save some. So it is imperative that we save 5 to 10% of everything we were able to receive. And I can say that the day I left office, all money that I received, state, local government, and everything, was about 600, about between 550, 600 billion naira. And then I was able to save between 10 to 15% of this the day I left office. And as at that day, I was not owing salary, pension, gratuity, any contract that had been executed, any supply that had been delivered, I was not owing any. Nothing. In salary, I have 2 months' salary kept for the incoming governor. I decided to invest Anambra State money, this saving, in 3 areas: Naira, cash, dollar, and investment. So if you see where I said I left 75 billion Naira, which was the equivalent of $500 million then, you see there's a 25 billion Naira, there's $150 million, because as at that time, dollar was about 150, and there's 25 billion invested in different assets. For the Naira component, which was where your question is, for the dollar component, which was where your question is, in the dollar component, we bought bonds. The bonds are specified with interest. For example, all of them was not invested in Fidelity Bank. And by the way, I do not own Fidelity Bank. Fidelity Bank is owned by, they have a total of 500 and something thousand shareholders. Because I passed through Fidelity Bank, owned their shares and was chairman, everybody said, it's your bank. No individual owns bank. So other people are involved. No bank in Nigeria that I know, maybe I'm wrong, that one single individual owns more than 20%. Maybe there is. So I do not own Fidelity Bank. But that is by the way, that's a story for another day. I did not invest this money, $150 million, in Fidelity Bank. Access Bank of Nigeria, I invested about $50 million. And they're all in bonds. Those bonds, their yield were clearly indicated. Nobody, not me, not anybody, can benefit from those bonds, because their yield are clearly indicated. The next bank is Diamond Bank. Diamond Bank, again, the yield is indicated. It's about 7% or so. It's clear. It's documented. If you want, give me your details. I'll fax you the documents. You will see the yield are there. So it's not something, it's an open thing. Number 3 is Fidelity Bank. Again, in each of these is $50 million. And we have a law backing it, calling it Future Generation Fund. If those monies were kept today untouched, without adding 1 kobo, without adding $1 more, it would have been now about 270, call it between 270, 290, even up to $300,000. Imagine if Anambra State today had $300,000 million. Imagine if they have today $280 to $300 million at almost 1,200 per dollar. They will be sitting on 360-something billion naira. No other state has such. The idea was that we were saving money. I recall listening and reading with joy that Soludo signed with Afrexim Bank for them to support Anambra State, which is going to be a loan with $200 million. I recorded it with joy. And I asked myself, imagine if they didn't touch the one I saved, and it's about $300 million now, and Anambra is able to get additional $200 million, combine it, it'll be $500 million, because our target is that if they continue to save at the rate we were saving, by year 2030, Anambra would have had about $1 billion. And I will use 50% of it to support SMEs and unleash SMEs drive for exports. That's what happened, whether from China to Indonesia to Vietnam. It was a clear study when we started saving it. And we know where we're going. But that is the story for another day. So, my dear, I did not in any way benefit from it. I saved the money, and let me tell you what I usually tell people. When they were accusing me of that I saved the dollar and took the interest, and I said to them, I wish every leader in Nigeria since 1960 actually saved the capital and took the interest. The amount of money we would have had today, we wouldn't know what to do with it. Nigeria would have been sitting on trillions of dollars if people had actually taken the interest and saved it. But Nigeria is a place that, because it's a criminalized entity, when you do what other people are not doing, what they will be doing every day is to make sure that even that good you did is rubbish. Why will you do it? So instead of celebrating the fact that Peter Obi did not borrow money, Peter Obi did not do this, remember, they now say, oh, he didn't do anything. But I said, but I was number one in MDG. I was number one in education. I won Bill Gates Prize in health. I was number one in this. I was this and everything. So, look at what we were doing. I won certificate for building the best rural roads, which improved farmers to bring this in. And if you come to the same Anambra State, you will see it and ask the people, they will tell you. Which is why in an election like it was last time, I can get 96%. Go to every school now, they will tell you wherever I pass. I was in a school in Imo State just on Thursday morning. The principal of that school told me, he said, I was in Mercy Girls in Umoji when you visited us and gave us bus. And told the people that I visited their school at least 3 times. Mercy Girls was not a public school. It was a school owned by the Reverend Sisters. Yes, he said I visited 3 times and gave them bus and computer. That's what I was doing in every school. But they will tell you, oh, Peter Obi did this. Oh, Peter Obi. But that money that I saved is there. Who else did so? Nobody. But they will gang up and say, oh, he profited in it. He invested it in brewery. In brewery, let me clarify it to you. The brewery today is owned by the biggest, the world biggest brewer. They own about 90-something% of the brewery. The entire entity put in Nigeria, which includes Rivers State government, Anambra State government, I think Osun State, don't even own up to, put together, don't even own up to 6%. So how could it have been my brewery? So when people talk, because we're busy attracting this, we had as a policy when I was in government, anybody that wants to come to Anambra State, any foreign entity, we will take 10% of his company as investment to support them, we will help them to build road to their facility. Today, that facility, in terms of tax, is number one in Anambra State. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about those who are doing distribution, those who are making a living from it. It is to say, oh, it belongs to Peter Obi. I can tell you, you can go and verify if in any way in the past, I left office 2014. Let me say, in the past 5 years, maybe when I was this is but from 2019, 18, 21, 22, 23, where there's any way that bill will pay Peter Obi 1 naira. 2019, 22, 2020, so you can go on and see it. So the people will say, oh, Peter Obi did this, Peter Obi did that. Because they is a gang up of criminals. How do we stop this one person who is trying to preach and do the right thing? And that's why I'm asking people to stay on. We can solve this problem. We can make these people place better. So I did not benefit from the dollar investment. I didn't take the interest. I left it for future generation. That was why I needed to explain this to you. Because it would be as if everybody saved and my own was different. No, nobody saved $1. So it should be celebrated that how can this man save $150 million? And my state was not one of the big states that were receiving this thing. We were the least in terms of receipts. States that receive more. Imagine what it would have been if the 36 states were able to keep the dollars that are kept, and today is 300 times 36. It would have been over $10 billion, and the states are not owing. Imagine what the country would have been today.
Okay.
You know? And like I keep saying, nobody, no human being, no thief sees what he can steal and leave it. No thief, not even in church. That's why if you go to church, even in Nigeria, they say, mind your phone, mind your bag. Because they know that even if the thief is in church, he will steal it. This is the money I can take and go away. But I left it. I left billions of naira and dollars. That dollar would have collected it. Even if people start chasing me for it, if I spent 10% of it, I would have settled those people and kept 135. Even when I was going, they wanted to pass a law for me to take 10% of it. I told them it's public money. It should be left there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that response. I remember pre-elections, I had a Twitter space where I invited Commissioner of Finance who worked with you, Eze HAC, and he came and spoke extensively on this and also presented some documents to attest to most of these things you said here today. Thank you very much, sir. So real quick, I'll pass the mic over to Arewachik for her question.
Thank you very much, Ms. Prowse. All right. Right now in Nigeria, we tend to have something very worrisome happening, and we can't but be left. We are kind of worried knowing that we have major corporations like GSK, Procter and Gamble, and Unilever. They've exited Nigeria. What are your thoughts on these developments, sir? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I've said it before that we must move from consumption to production. And that means you have to support businesses. Businesses thrive in a conducive, business-friendly environment. Businesses thrive in a conducive environment. Businesses thrive where there is disposable income, so people can buy their goods. My sister, 15 years ago, P&G, India global body, took Nigeria as a country of strategic importance and built a world-class distribution facility in Abara. And for them to abandon it today takes a lot, because things have collapsed. When I answered about who was the person I was comparing 2009 till date, it was very simple. In 2009, 2008, when they took this, they saw a country that was growing at 6-7%. They saw a country where things were getting stronger and better. Our debts were low. There were disposable income. The people who were able to buy items today, from studies, I even read one for less than 2 million Nigerians can afford to purchase items of $10 every day. A country of 200 million people, only 1% can spend that amount. You saw, it's not only them, you saw a lot of companies, leaving. ShopRite left Nigeria and their profit increased. And they will tell you they're very happy that they left, because they saw demand going down. Only few Nigerians now have disposable income to be able to buy anything, because there's no living wage, there's no productivity, that is creating more labor, so more people can have. So all this is what we need to look at. How do we start turning around the economy by making it more productive? You have to invest in security aggressively to be able to drive away hoodlums and bring back your farmers who will help to tackle food inflation, create more jobs. You need to support manufacturing activities by having policies that favor them and everything. You need to support export aggressively to be able to get more foreign exchange, stabilize your currency, have enough currency to be able to get manufacturers to get inputs, support the local manufacturers of inputs. So there's a lot that needs to, when I said you prioritize what you're going to do, we did that side, the companies. It is not going around trying to attract foreign investor. Nobody goes around to attract foreign investor. Foreign investor is like honey and bee. If you put honey, the bee will come. You don't need to look for the bee. The bee is looking for where there's honey. That's how foreign investor work. If you start doing the right things, in those days they were coming, nobody was looking for them. They were coming. And they did not get them from seminars. Seminars is good. But you can come into Iran without visa. Countries in Africa like Ghana and everything is there. Nigeria is not there. Yet, there are more Muslims in Nigeria than the countries they published. They didn't say, oh, well, listen, we have more Muslims. They didn't publish Nigeria, giant of Africa. Countries in Africa are now telling us we can't come to them without visa. So we have a problem we need to solve. And this problem does not. There's no place you go now and say, I'm a Nigerian Yoruba, they give you visa. Or you fly cheaper. Nobody goes and say, I'm a Nigerian Northerner. When Buhari was coming, they were saying the same thing. Oh, this is he has come and gone. What changed in the north? Same thing is what we are going to have now. So this is the style of the old order to keep being there. And we must overcome it. We must deal with it. I urge all of us to be tolerant and understand each other. I have worked with every area of this country. I've been to everywhere in this country. The old order is crippling us by infusing this. There's so many Yorubas today that are married to Igbos. There's so many Igbos that are married to Yorubas. The same thing in the north, in the middle belt. I know a lot of people today, not that are married to Igbos and everything, but they continue to tell you. I know a lot of Muslims who are these, even prominent people, prominent families now, where the man is a Muslim, the wife is a Christian, and people have had all sorts of things. Yet, they keep telling you because it serves their purpose. So then they tell you that Peter Obi is imposing religious war. Peter Obi is doing this. Peter Obi is doing that. When there was bomb in Kaduna, he affected mainly Muslims. Peter Obi had gone there. Those who are shouting Muslim, didn't go there. They didn't go. But they will be the first to shout and tell you it's about Muslim. When I was campaigning, I went to everywhere. One of the things I observed when I went there and everything, talking to other people, is that you have people who are not. It was not Peter Obi who put in or Christianity that caused the criminality in the north. It was not Christianity that made them the people who are supposed to be educated not. No. And I have said I will start the turnaround from the north. Because I know what the problem is. Because I know what happens in Kanu. I know what happens in this. So what they are doing is to continue to use this fear. That is what I want us to overcome. That's why I said to you, they will do everything. If they can't get out, they will deal with Peter Obi. Peter Obi might not be there for them. But I'm ready for anything. Anything they want to do. And I'm sure that if we get together, when they take Peter Obi away, other people will continue from where I stopped. That is what is important to me.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Before we proceed, I would like to make it clear that this is not an obedient space, neither is it a Labour Party space. It's for everyone, APC,
Thank
PDP,
you.
our political
And
people.
fantastic.
Yes, sir. So please feel free to request for the mic, regardless of whichever political party you belong to. Request for the mic and come up here and ask His Excellency questions. I'm sure he'll be very glad to hear from people from other parties. So let's proceed now by passing the mic over to Joyce. Hi, Joyce.
Hello, everyone. My name's Joyce Onyemua. I'm a broadcaster with Nigeria Info FM Lagos. And my questions first would be the concern of insecurity. Such a large problem in Nigeria. It's been consistent and has been persistent. I would like to know what you would do differently, and if you can tell us what, in your opinion, is the reason why the problem of insecurity has remained unchanged. The other question, which is hardly a question, but regardless, it's about the spirit in town, the pulse of the people. As a broadcaster, I tend to both interact and hear people give me what is their latent fears. People have become despondent, and that causes them to despair. I feel it's because they do not see something or someone reminding them of the courage and the will to pursue this vision for a new Nigeria. And in that regard, I'll be willing to extend an invitation, if it is convenient for you, to come on radio to speak to people, to remind them of the impetus it will take to be the Nigerians in the new Nigeria, and what it would, require of them in order to achieve the new Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your invitation. And I assure you, somewhere along the line, we will talk about the invitation, and I'll be part of it. Maybe not immediately, but definitely will be as we go along. On what you talked about, insecurity, there's no way you will not have insecurity. We're going through now. In any other nation, my sister, you can't have 50% of your population living in poverty. You can't have almost 60% youth unemployment with all the energy we're in their productive age, and you will have insecurity. It has happened in countries and countries over the world. When people talk about agitation now, that is all over the place, I said to them, go and study Brazil, Mexico, Bolivia, some of the Asian countries. These things were there because you have a high level of unemployment. I was talking to a prominent Briton the other day, and I said to him, if you have 15-20% unemployment in the UK, nobody will come out of his house. Very simple. That's why nations work hard to ensure that their people remain employed, because they know it causes problem, like issue of criminality, disorderliness. So what you need to do, and that is what Nigeria is facing, is happening in countries like Brazil, Mexico, and all countries around there. The more you put people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. There's a time every Mexican wants to move over to America. Today, Mexicans in America are going back to Mexico. So you could see. So it was Brazil and everywhere. Same thing in Asia. Indians are going back to India to make money. Indians become authority here today. Indians have become this. So it's Vietnam. So it's Indonesia. Today, Indonesia health setup have become exemplary. When I talk to people, authorities in health globally, they say to me, Peter, go and see what Indonesia is doing with the issue of their healthcare. So the more you do the right things that propel development, the more you have your people. Before, Nigerians were not running away from Nigeria. When I was in university, everybody wants to go to university in Nigeria. Only few people want to go abroad. Today, I had one of the famous pastors tell me a story that they pray for people's wish. That he was surprised when he said, people are looking for visas to go abroad and do this, and he wants to pray for them. Everybody came out, including old women and men. And he asked them, people want, they said they want to go too. Everybody wants to disappear. And people are dying across the oceans. And people are dying across the deserts, wanting to go away. Why? Poverty. It wasn't so. Because then when it was good, you enter Nigerian Airways from here, it's only about 200, 300 naira. You fly to London, you don't need a visa. I just said that Iran have just listed countries that can come without visa. They didn't put us. And this is what is happening to us. Dubai, 1991, when I went to Dubai for the first time, the people I met were asking me how they can get more Nigerians to come. You just come to the airport. Visa. Today, we're kneeling down and begging them to allow us to even pass. You know? So everything we've been denied everyone because things are not working. That is why you have criminality. We need to deal with it head on. And we have the resources to start reversing that. It's not going to happen overnight. But we can start doing it. And that is what I am saying. And that is what I want to do. And that's what I've done in a smaller scale and can say it will happen. It starts with the leader. The leader must be clear on where he's driving this vehicle to. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want us as a body to continue to agitate for. Where there will be respect for rule of law, where the executive, legislative, and judiciary will be men and people who want to sacrifice for this country.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. So moving on real quick, I'm going to take a guy right now. Let's go over to Indifreke. Hi, Indifreke, how you doing?
Hi, good evening.
Please go ahead.
Good evening.
I, I've been requesting the mic. I am so honored to have been given the mic to be speaking to Mr. Peter Obi. I just turned 29 today, and this is such a blessing.
Oh, happy birthday. I wish you the best of it.
Amen. Thank you so
And I'm
much,
sure
sir.
you'll be part of this new Nigeria. These are the people who want to change it for.
Sir, you've given us a good faith to be part of it, and we appreciate you. So quickly, let me just go over. For one, each time I look at my country, I look at what the future holds. I'm reminded how resilient you are, how intelligent you are, how smart you are to overcome what looks like loopholes, the kind of things that are set up maybe to seek your downfall, to set you up, and all of that. And men, sir, you are so blessed, and you give us great inspiration to know that we can transform this country. Everything is possible. I won't lie, I'm still always looking out to wondering what can we do. So this is practically my question. Already this is my age. I'm smart, I'm business minded, and all of that going on, and as much as many other Nigerians, how really should we begin to act? We, like myself, I'm very hopeful, and I don't know how long I have to be hopeful, but because of men like you keep us spending, I'm reminded that yes. So I'm hopeful that something is going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but something is going to happen. But in the meantime, while in the tunnel, how can we live and gradually take out? I think one of the mantra you really put in through Taking Back Nigeria is the idea of not doing it in the same manner that we are trying to eradicate, which is, rigging, fraudulent acts, and all of those kind of aspects. So that's one of the things I really respect. So how can we all key into the ideas, the strengths, and the vision, like, in governance, in business, and it's just a whole lot, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I've been a businessman all my. I've been a trader. I've been everything. What I tell people when I was trading is very simple. Do the right things. Nobody will tell you. I've been accused of everything, but it is not easy to be a criminal for a long time. Some people have said, "Oh, Peter B did this, Peter B did that." I can tell you, I've never been involved in anything that is wrong. No, never. I have never. I've tried to stay within what is right, do what is right. I try to stay close to God. I try to do things with fairness to everybody. What I mean fairness to fairness to everybody. Where unknowingly, I've been a businessman. I've borrowed money from banks. I borrowed money from individuals. Not one person will ever tell you that Peter Obi was giving money or did a transaction with and he cheated him. Instead, I've been the one that people have cheated. And I take it. Because for me, I tell people, nobody will ever lose his trust on me. If you give me money, I want to use it well and pay you back. Even till today, I do borrow money from individuals. I do borrow money from a system, and I've tried to show those who gave it to me that it is their own, and I'm paying them back. Today, we owe people, even from this exercise we went. But as much as possible, those who are genuine, who did the right thing, and we genuinely contracted them or borrowed money, we're paying them. Whatever we can get, wherever we are. Even those who represented us legally, I said to them, I'm owing you. It is my responsibility. I'm looking for what I can do to get money to pay you, but I'm not going to say because this is my condition or this is my situation, I'm going to do the wrong thing. No. Capital, no. I'm not going to jump and say, okay, these people are going to give me something, this and everything. No. People, I can tell you, the offers I get today is mind-blowing. On the other way around, for refusing the offer, what they want to do to me is also very frightening. But I'm ready to go through anything. And I can keep telling people say, oh, Peter, you put your life on. I said, if I die at 60 something, I didn't die a young person. Some people died in their 20s, 30s, and everything. And by the basis of God, I have kids who are now graduates and doing their own thing. So if I go, fair enough. As long as I don't deviate from this, what I set up the day I decided to get involved in government. I'm happy that my experiment in public life, nobody will say, oh, he was involved or took any failed bank money. My involvement in government at the lower level, it didn't happen. And at this particular level I'm seeking today, what I want is God to use me and all of you to change this country. So sacrifice. That's what I can tell you. Do the right thing always, in your own small way. But once again, happy birthday. May God Almighty that has been with you all this while continue to bless you always.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and happy birthday in the Freke. So real quick, let's go over to $1 Million Girl.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, Your Excellency. It's good to have
Good
you
evening.
in.
Good evening.
So you've answered a lot of questions, and I figured we've not even checked on you, sir. So I would like to ask, permit me to ask, how have you been since the Supreme Court judgment? Because I wake up every morning angry and very sad, knowing what happened and knowing that more or less they got away with it. Have you recovered psychologically,
Well,
financially?
that's what they want to achieve. They want to make you sad. I'm not sad. I just believe that the struggle continues. You know, yes, we've lost money, we've lost time. But let me tell you, the biggest part of our loss is money. But that is the least thing any human being can worry when you lose. We all came here with nothing. We're going to go with nothing. The only thing we're going to go is the impact we made in the society. Because that's the only thing that will be meaningful. It doesn't matter how long we are or how long we live. I was in a conference the other day and somebody said, oh, the government that made impact, those who are making impact in Rwanda, in Singapore, is because they stayed a long time. They were there. I said, no. Don't say that. How long you stay is not important. You can be there for a very short time and make impact. And I gave them an example of those who didn't stay long. I started with Mullah Muhammad in Nigeria. I said, when he became head of state, they wanted to build for him a presidential mansion. He said, no, let's use the place to build 1,004 flats, which is there today for civil servants. But instead, he worked from his house. He didn't say, don't kill, but the impact is there. I gave an example of Kennedy. Kennedy didn't stay for the full 8 years that is allowed. But America still today make reference to Kennedy. But so you can stay for a short time, just like the same thing I say every day. We want a better Nigeria. I've lived in other countries of the world. I've lived in the UK. If Nigeria today is like UK and Peter is not present, I'll celebrate it. We want things to work. And for me, I'm okay. I'm fine. Be rest assured, let us remain cheerful. Let us remain who we are, because they want to depress us. They want us to feel pain. They want us to, everything that can happen to us to not to continue is what they want. That is why they're worried that how can this man still be running around after the election? He's gone to court. When I tweet now, they have hired thousands of people they're paying. And they're youths whom I'm fighting for. They've hired thousands of them. When you tweet now, they come back. Stupid man, you'll never be president. You're foolish. The other day, you raped a woman. There are all sorts of things in there. And I laugh. You know, you'll never be this. You'll still be killed. You're a thief. You stole money. That's why you went to Anambra State and bankrupt the state. Killed people, stole all their money and everything. Yes, it is coming after you. ICPC, they've stood up everything. And they are going there. And the people who are doing this now, young people, somebody told me how much they're paid, how many of them have been hired, thousands of them being given money. And I asked him, okay, you're doing this. Tell me, how long will they pay you this money? Of what use is it to you? In your village, do people buy food cheaper? No. Is it enough for you to meet up your obligation? No. Peter just wants us to work. If it works for everybody. I've lived in a system that worked for everybody. And that's all I want. So for me, I'm fine. I'm healthy, and I thank God for it. I don't have any issues or anything to worry about. It might be difficult. It might be painful. I'm struggling. My wife, my children might be going through it. But, you know, we all have our different problems to deal with. So I thank you for your care and everything.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So real quick, let's go over to Omar Sissoko. Hi,
So I'm not
Omar.
going to have time to ask my questions, please.
Yes, I'm gonna come over to you. I'm just taking everyone according to how you came on stage. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Excellence
Good
Obi.
evening.
Thank you for everything you're doing for Nigeria. Excellent campaign you run. It seems like you are the candidate of the the population of Nigeria. So you have my vote. I'm from West Africa, Senegal, Mali, and really you have the means and the capital, intellectual capital to heal the divide amongst Nigerian, because I think all Nigerians have the same needs. So you became president. It's going to be obvious that you'll be able to be the person to be able to unite all Nigerian. My question to you is: since the independence in 65 years ago, I'm from West Africa region, colonized by the French. To this day, most of the 14 countries of West Africa are using the CFA currency that belongs to France. So we don't have any monetary independence. The economy of these countries are really poor compared to Nigeria, compared to the former British colonies. And right now, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger got rid of France because France is just extracting. Basically, if I can use the word, excuse my language, France is just stealing everything from these poor economy. We have, for example, in Senegal, the principal candidate, just like yourself, is in detention right now. And we have election in February 2024. But he's the candidate of the population. But God willing, he'll be able to. We're fighting for him so he can be the next president for Senegal, and that's going to trigger my wish. I'm subscribing to your new Nigeria, but I would like to invite you to my new Africa. My question to you is: after 65 years of independence, all these African countries, I think it's time for us to think about having the African citizenship. Africa to become one country under one president, under one currency. One country, one president, under one monetary policy. If we have one currency in the entire continent of Africa, we can solve all our problem. because we don't need to go to the IMF and the World Bank or go to the European Union borrowing dollars and euro and the Chinese. We can develop our own country. So my question to you is, how do you feel about the future of Africa being a federation under one president, one country, and one currency? Thank you so much for your.
Well, let me tell you, if you listen to my lecture in the Commonwealth just about 3 weeks ago, I was emphatic on it. While it will take a while of time for us to become a united country, Africa have no reason to be poor, because the only continent of the world that today you can say there's a future for development and creating that enormous is Africa. And Africa is so blessed. Today, Africa have the highest concentration of minerals, the so-called natural things. Africa. All the things you're looking for, the biggest deposit, the country with the highest amount of what they can call natural assets today is Congo. Natural resources, Congo is sitting on 24 trillion worth of natural assets. They have no reason to be poor. So is Nigeria. We have from oil to other minerals to everything. We have no reason to be poor. From South Africa to all over the place, we have what it takes. Africa have of the world's 60% all cultivated land today is in Africa. So Africa can become a food basket and power to the world. There's so much in Africa have a youthful population. While the other people are aging and everything, in Africa, we have a youthful population that is in their productive age. But because we have a leaders, but they have leaders who don't want that. Because those people you're calling are using those leaders. It will shock you. I was campaigning to be president of Nigeria. I'm going to tell my story around my book one. People are inviting you, oh, we want to see you in different capitals of the world. And you go there, people say to you, we're going to put in this amount of money in your campaign, but this is going to happen, that is going to happen. I said, wait a minute, you're talking about my country. You can't do that. Why are we going to be going to United Nations to complain or beg about what God has given to us? Our seas, our waters, our oceans are being occupied, and all the resources there are going to foreigners. Why are we not going to United Nations to complain about foreigners in our territory? Our natural resources are being mined so the things we need to do, and I can tell you, it will happen. We will start by making sure that people are the ones in charge, running our affairs. We might not be united, but I keep saying Europe is not one, Asia is not one, but they found the common reality that they need to work hard and deal with their own issues. And that is where we will start. We must come together as a country. We must be able to have peer review mechanism to be able to say to the African leaders, OAU, everything must work as a family. We must be able to look at an African leader and say, you're wrong. You shouldn't treat your people like this. We're Africans. We should be able to say, have leaders who will not be there forever. Should be able to have laws within Africa that shows, I've said in Nigeria, for example, and I continue to maintain it, we should have a 5-year tenure where you do not have to come back, because re-election has cost us a fortune. So 5 years, you go, and we rotate it all through our 6 geopolitical zones to be able to manage the problems within us and focus on voting the right people. People say to me, oh, no, I said, give me 5 years. I will show the direction that nobody can reverse. Because when people see that it's going well, if you want to reverse it, they will deal with you. In Anambra today, nobody can reverse what we did in education. Our education is thriving. Our health is thriving. If you go, when I started, there was no single school of nursing sciences. Today, we have about 8, and they're doing well. More and more are bringing up. In fact, other people are trying to now, I've seen 2 now coming up. So you cannot reverse it. If you reverse it, the people will protest. So for me, it's all about United Africa, because that will take time. The same people will come and disrupt it. So let's get people working. Let us come together first, separately as we are, and start doing things, start trading together, start showing each other, making sure that this after which we have signed the agreement is working, make Africa to become productive, produce, say goods. Today, trade within African countries is still below 10%. It should be more. And it's not something you talk about. It's about, again, having people who are competent to drive the process. Shouldn't just be 1 or 2. Should be all over Africa. Thank you.
Thank
Can I
you
have
very much.
one more quick question?
I'm so
Mr.
sorry,
Obi,
Omar.
I think you have a great chance on every single election. It's going to take 4 years. I think you should start right now and put your team on the ground and get at it. And once you control everything and you have the presence, strong presence, I think the presidency will be yours, God willing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. In Nigeria, when you start on time, because it's too expensive, we're there. We're doing whatever is possible, and we'll continue to do so.
We're going to pinch in. We're going to be helping out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Omar. Thank you, Your Excellency. So I'm still taking everyone according to how you came on stage, and I'm having a gender balance here. I'll take one lady, one guy. So right now we'll take Sarah. After Sarah, we'll go over to Briggs. Hi, Sarah. How you doing? Sarah, are you there? Okay, Sarah is not there. Let's go over to Briggs. Hi, Briggs.
Okay, hi, I'm here.
Please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay, so Your Excellency Pio, Nigeria can always have one president at a time. Now,
Yes.
everyone who's vying for this position means well for the country. That's what it means. Now, the present administration is on. Would it be out of place since you're not able to become the president, to offer hand of fellowship to work in this administration to make it work and make it better for what you want it to be. Now,
That's exactly what I'm doing by being in opposition.
okay,
For
being in
a system to
opposition.
work, you must be able to have an effective alternative everywhere in the world, even in your private business. You must have an alternative. That the reason why you're seeing America, Britain, everything, the first world develop is because they have an effective opposition. What are the things that have killed Africa is not having effective opposition, because everybody is lumped into one. That's what I'm providing now. And I can tell you, I can show you places where things would have gone wrong and people said no. Listen, Peter Obi will oppose this, or this person will oppose this. That is exactly what I'm doing now. That's why I'm even advocating that we have to either go back to parliamentary system or have a near parliamentary system where whenever there is in the parliament anywhere, when it's presidential questions time or prime minister's question time, he answers it himself, not through subletting it to somebody we didn't elect. So I'm doing that. And when I was governor, I tolerated that. Go and ask people like Dr. Chris Ngige and everybody. I allowed them to criticize what I'm doing. That's the only way to work.
Okay, so let me add to this, sir.
Thank you.
If you are heading the economic team of this administration, largely the economic team churns out policies that are people-oriented and people-friendly, Your Excellency, sir. If someone like you, with your knowledge, heads the economic team, trust me, whatever you want to do for Nigeria will be in place and it will be passed. So why not be in the ruling party and leaving the opposition now that it does not work?
No. It would be wrong. It would destroy the system. Because let me tell you, let me tell you, a leader, what I'm saying now might look easy, but every leader has his own purpose and his own time. The people today, I'm not saying they don't have the best of ideas. Yes, they have a lot of professors, they're wonderful people, but I will not drive this vehicle called Nigeria the same way. When I talk about things that I talk about cutting costs and everything, my brother has been governor. It wasn't easy for a lot of my colleagues to do what I'm doing. I've also been, if you don't know, it's not just being governor. I've also been bank chairman in this country, where I was the only bank chairman who was not living in their land. I lived in a place called Festac. And I come to meeting, and I remember the bank telling me, you have to do this and everything. So people think I started this. If you go to the bank where I was chairman, Fidelity, go there, I turned down, said my pigeon will bring me here, and I'll do this job and go. I did not borrow 1 naira from them for 1 day. I said, I am not here. We're here to manage people's money. So we have different lifestyles. What I'm doing now is what I want to do for the country to be good. And it is better where I'm offering it. And I've said it alternatively. When they do things, that's what makes a system work.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. So moving on real quick, we'll take one question from the TL before I return to those on stage. So Gloria, are you ready?
I am. Thank you so much, Ms. Pearl. At Soltai 1988 says, "Sir, you have been putting out statements to counter most of what some may consider anti-people policies of this government, and this is really commendable. In a situation whereby the government continues in this path of bringing out policies that make life difficult for the masses, what do you recommend?" And now I'm paraphrasing. "In what ways can citizens get the government to change their positions on such policies?"
Well, again, that's not exactly what I answered in the last question. When we have effective opposition, I've not started even telling bodies like Nigerian Economic Summit, you can't continue to invite only people in government to occasions. Because that's what happens in Nigeria. That's what I'm going through now. I told you, if I want to come to a place, the people don't want to see you because they feel, hey, if you come now, you greet them. These people will see you. This is it. But if you go in societies that work, all the G7, G20 countries that work, is you invite people in government, you invite the opposition. So for us, what we need to do is to remain where we are and say, this is wrong. Look at in a few months, all of you are harassing labor legislators and say they are not doing the right thing. That's what it should be. Because you voted them for a purpose. Don't allow them to, after voting them, for them to go and say, oh, they didn't come there themselves. There was something they were offering and we voted them. There was something this government was offering and we voted them. They've told us that we're going to be 1 trillion economy, we're going to be this, we're going to be that. You know, we're going to be this in the next few. That is what we want to see. If you know what, that's why we should be able to say, hey, you know, that number of people that went to COP went there because that's what how they used to go. So when this happens, you say no. They want to build a house, you say no. They want to buy yachts, we say no. All these things are no because they're no. Don't tell us, oh, it's been there. Oh, there's nothing wrong in it. Like they used to say when the question about yacht, they say, somebody used to, a governor used to own yacht, a governor used to own plane. That was when things were good. Today, we can no longer go on that way. We can no longer afford that type of lifestyle. It is no longer visible for us to do things like that, and it must be stopped. So that's where we are. So we continue to say things that are wrong when they are wrong. That's what we'll continue to do.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So real quick, let's go over to Nello. Hi, Nello.
Hi, Pearl. Please, can I go after the next person, please?
Sure. Okay. Nello, are you there?
Yes, I am, but I'm just tied up in something. I'll be free after the next person, please.
Okay, sure. Okay, let's take Malik. Hi, Malik. Malik, are you there? Okay, Malik doesn't seem to be there. Let's go over to Chief Owakena.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I thought Malik had spoken already.
No, Malik has not spoken. Please go ahead with your question.
Is it me or Malik? Who is going ahead?
Chief Owakena, please go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening from my end first. Good evening, Mr. President. I
Good
call
evening,
you Mr.
President,
because I know we won the election and the criminals stole it from us. Mr. President, from what we have seen in the past year, we have seen that our ballot revolution will not do it. We have also seen that the courts will not do it for us. They are compromised. We saw the blatant whatever they did at the Supreme Court. And we have seen subsequently how the criminals in government today, I will use the word criminals because we all in this room know the truth. The whole world knows the truth. How they have continued to blatantly put their people, their cronies in power, from INEC to police to whatever arms of government. Mr. President, you and I know, and everybody knows, that going to the ballot again will not do it for us. Take Imo, take Kogi, take Bayelsa as examples. Take Kano as example. Take Port Harcourt as example. Those states where I'm from is coming up very soon. The same thing will happen. Mr. President, I will differ with everybody in this room and ask you a simple question. Please, when are we going to hit the streets? Because if the tables were turned, Tinubu and his gang would have turned off Nigeria by today. We played by the rule, voted massively, went to the court massively, and we did everything. And they still denied us what was right. Mr. President, there is no constitution today in Nigeria. So when are we going to hit the streets? That is the language they will understand. If you say you don't want people to be killed, they dropped a bomb in Kaduna a few weeks ago. You visited them. They killed innocent people over there. Across the country, people are being kidnapped daily. Coppers going to Zamfara are still in captive for over 4 months, if I'm not mistaken. People can't feed across Nigeria, Mr. President. When are we going to hit the street? That is what they will understand. Because we won the election. And as I round up, Mr. President, you made a statement that people from abroad were calling you, trying to cut deals with you on how to govern Nigeria. We know they don't.
I'm so sorry to interject, Chief Owaken. If you don't mind, can you please go straight to your question?
The question is, when are we hitting the streets? Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you very much. I know how you feel. I know the pain you feel. But let me tell you what I've always said. We are preaching the right things. We will not do it wrongly. I've always said that those who want to answer excellency must come through the excellent way. It will take time. It will look as if it's going to be tonight. But I will tell you, it won't be too far. We are going to do it the right way, and we're going to get there. We're going to do it the right way, and it's going to get there. The people will be with us. They will come to an end one day, because there are things I cannot tell. They're coming to an end because hunger, everything, because they can't do it. We're not going to. I have said to people, if you hit the streets, it will be worse. It will be worse for those you're trying to protect, because they are the ones who live in armored houses with armored cars, which I and you don't have. They live a sophisticated life. They are now using billions to refurbish themselves and everything. I said it before that coppers who genuinely want to serve Nigeria are now in captivity, and people are celebrating. People are celebrating, and nobody cares. They didn't mention them in their celebration. I didn't see their celebration mention, oh, these my people who are in captivity. I didn't see them show prayers or mention those who died in Kaduna in their speeches. So, please, let's not allow more to die. Yes, it might be language they will understand, but after more people have been killed and kidnapped and all of excuse given, my pleading with you is that let us try to continue the same way we've done it so far. We will get there. Quote me anywhere.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. So real quick, let's go over to Nello before we come over to Omega. Hi, Nello.
Hi, Pels. Good evening, the People's President, the People's Choice, Mr. Peter Obi. It's such an honor to be here today to speak to you. So, sir, my question is this.
It's
We
an
know
honor
that
for me
Nigerian,
too.
so we know that Nigerian politicians are ruthless. I mean, we saw what they did in the last election. And it's very nice to hear you speak and to hear your optimism, for the Nigeria that we want, the Nigeria that we deserve. But I'm just very worried, that we are dealing with monsters, people who believe in holding on to power at all costs. And I'm looking at what happened at the last election, and I'm looking at the next elections to come, because obviously for you to be able to effect any change of any kind, you need to be able to get into power. And if the conditions remain the same, how how do how do you get people to come out again, to put in everything, because it's like you do everything, you convince people to come out and vote, and they come, they even, some people give up their lives, defending these votes, and then the umpire just comes and do whatever they like, and they get the judges to declare them, and it's like another cycle of hopelessness. So how do we mitigate this? What can we do? Because when I look at the Nigerian situation, when
Um,
I look at what happened in the last election,
I'm really
I'm
sorry.
filled.
Nello, I'm really very sorry to interject you right now. Please, do you want to just go straight to your
Yeah, I was just
question?
about to round up. Actually, I was just going to
Okay.
say, how do we mitigate what happened, in the last election from happening again, going about it the right way, just like you've suggested.
Well,
Thank you.
we will continue. If you look at what we were able to do in 1 year, it wouldn't have been possible if not for our remaining together and resilient. And like I told you, if they think it is that easy for them, I won't be going through what I'm going through today. But because they too are scared, they too are going everything, even what we're talking now, they're listening. They know that we're on the right path. They're not God. So let us remain faithful to what we're doing. Let's do the right things. The right thing will definitely happen here one day. And you'll see it. The pain and the suffering of the people will be heard. It will not go in vain. And I believe it will happen soon, sooner than we think. We have people, difficult governments all over the world. One day they came to an end. Things that people thought it was impossible happened. And it will happen here. All that we is that we need to remain together. It is important that we remain together.
Is going to hand over power to them, knowing how fraudulent and how evil they are. Do you think it's possible for another party to win an election and take it that
But
victory? That's my question.
remember what I said before. Let's continue where we are. They will one day. They will not be there forever. They can't live forever. They are human beings. They too will even die one day. So they are not going to be there forever. When this is happening, it looks as if they are going to remember. They are not going to be here forever. They are human beings.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency, for that very quick one. So, guys, we will be ending this space shortly, and so please, when I pass you the mic, do well to go straight to your questions. And for those sending me DMs which I've not been able to respond to right now, my sincere apologies. There are tons of them right now, so please do well to DM Arewachik, Bolanle, or Parallel Facts. Thank you very much. So let's go over now to let's take Natalie Hussein.
All right, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Thank you for having
Yes,
us.
I'm listening.
All right. So my question, you've answered a big part of my question already, from the questions the previous speakers just asked. But however, I'm going to ask it because in a way it's a bit different. So my question goes like this: considering the fact that most of the government institutions, which they have pointed out, have been compromised, I want to know, how do you advise we approach? So it's more about the approach now. How do you advise we approach the next elections? What do you think we need to do differently? And secondly, it looks like we're preparing for the next run. And I want you to please address the fact that many people are really disillusioned. We have people traveling. I remember for the first time, I did everything I could to get my voter's card, and even had to stay in a hotel just to vote. And things turned out the way they turned out. And a lot of people are disillusioned. Can you please address the facts? Can you please just say something to those who are going through all those emotions, and how you think we should still stay mentally prepared, because this is obviously not a sprint, it's a marathon. But when people are disillusioned, when their mental state is just not right, how do they come out to vote for the next elections? How do they even have the hope or the belief? Some people don't even know where to start from. And when you talk about, next elections, they don't even want to hear it. So how do you think we should approach this? Thank you very much.
I've said it from the beginning and I say it again. Remain strong and committed to this. What you're saying now is what they want to achieve. They want people to be disillusioned. They want people to not care again. They want to divide us. They've now started doing that, making you feel it's tribal thing, with maybe Yoruba versus Igbo, maybe Hausa versus North versus South. These are the things they will do. But I'm pleading with you, do not listen to them. The question you ask yourself, I, who is from Southwest, am I buying bread cheaper? Am I doing anything? Yes, there might be a few people who are benefiting. Those who benefited from the North, where are they? Where are they now that hunger has returned? Who are they? So these are questions to ask ourselves. So I'm begging you, do not listen to them. Let us stay together. If we stay together and do the right things, we will get there. It's a marathon, like you said. And in a marathon, there's a time you feel like giving up. There's a time like you walk out of it. And that's what they want to achieve. They want to achieve that. So we will not give it to them. We will stay on. And I assure you, they will. If I skip, like I repeated several times, If I tell any of you a bit of what I go through on a daily basis, you said no, give up, let them take everything. But because I've seen it before, because for me, what else to live for? If this is what we should go through and things will work, I'm prepared for it. So when they're doing it, it's like, okay, we're on in it, we will continue to be in it, whatever happens. So I'm begging everybody, let's stay on. Don't feel anything. What we achieved in 1 year, so that if we work hard with all they're trying to do, they've given us all the promise, they're sharing everything, let's stay together. All we want is a better Nigeria, where everybody will start feeling proud of being part of that country. States that are countries that are denying us opportunity today. Dubai, for example, didn't say this type of people can come. The other people, it is Nigeria that they are saying they don't want us again. Iran that denied the visa didn't say some Nigerians will come, some will not be. It is Nigeria. Everybody that is dealing with us now is dealing with us as a Nigerian. Like I said, JSK didn't say we will not leave Nigeria because we're in Southwest and the Southwesterner is now in charge. They left because they didn't see hope in Nigeria. Because about Nigeria. It's not about who is there and who is not there. PNG, all their facilities is in Southwest. They left. They didn't say, oh, let's wait. They didn't leave because a Southeasterner and a Northerner. They didn't even leave when Buhari was in charge to say, okay, since it's the Northerner that is there. So, and the same thing is what is happening everywhere. Same thing is what is happening everywhere. Nobody is saying, oh, because this person is in charge or this person is there, let's stay. No, they are all going because they no longer see hope in your place. That's why they are going. And we must all come together to reverse that. If you stay on, those who are disillusioned will turn around. It will be difficult. But if we all stay on, it will come to a time those who are pushing us will know that we can stay together and work together. And I'm urging all of us, please, for we have no other country except this one. Let us stay together, no matter the differences we have, no matter a different background, ethnicity, religion, these are things they're using to confuse us. Everywhere, most religions stay together. You have seen me say it in campaigns. The Catholic Church in Dubai was built by Emir of Dubai. He's a Muslim. The Queen gave the Muslims one of the choicest land in London to build their mosque. They are not Muslims. In the UK, everybody lives together. In other parts of the world, everybody lives together. Let us live together in Nigeria. Do not listen to them when they tell you, Peter Obi is this, Peter Obi is this. The only thing Peter Obi is that he's not believing in what they are doing. He's talking about a change. Even if I'm as bad as they think, at least I'm better than some. That is why I'm able to see money that I would have taken and say no to it. This is what we want to do. Let's start looking for those who can say even partly in it. Why is the other people leaving debts? Why didn't they leave money? These are things we want to do. Let's look for those who are at least trying to do something and work with them. It will go a long way. It is important. It will go a long way. It is important. It's a lot of sacrifice, but it is achievable.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Let's have Odo Akaji.
Hello, Miss Pels. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Oh, fantastic. Good evening, Mr. Obi.
Good evening.
I'm calling from Abia State, so thank you for supporting Alex to ascend the leadership of my state. We feel the difference. My question is, how do you feel that your party were not able to stop these people from swearing into INEC positions, well-known card-carrying members of the APC, which is against the norm and against the law? Thank you.
Well, for me, just people can still be there and will affect the change. People think, let me tell you, in countries where there have been change, people have even their uncles and their brothers and everything, and there was change. It's happened in countries where they have their uncles, their parents, their children, everywhere, and change happened. So all those people that are swearing in, when there will be change, they will be there, and they will not do anything for them. It is when we allow it that they will get away with whatever they will get away with. When we all come together one day, they will not be able to do it. There will be a day INEC officer will not risk announcing the wrong result. He will not risk it because he knows the implication. It will happen. There will be a time no judge will risk giving any type of reckless judgment. It will happen if only we remain together and do the right things. Thank you for acknowledging what is happening in Abia. If you go now, you see people who are saying Peter Obi doesn't criticize Alex for financial recklessness. He's criticizing other people, and I'll laugh. Go and see financial recklessness, but go and see what he's been able to do in a few months. He's been in charge. What are we asking people to do? Just do some work. So people have not done anything, and they're telling you, oh, go and see what is happening in Abia. What has been happening in Abia? What has happened? This man came in with the same government that we're all quarreling with now. Go to Abia and you see a clear change, a clear direction. And that's what we're saying, that it is not how long. You can start from day one, doing the right things from day one. And it started it from day one. Everybody can see it. So thank you for acknowledging that. I assure you, that's what we want to do with the entire country.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Let's go over to Call Me Wealth. Call Me Wealth, are you there? Okay, Call Me Wealth is not there. Let's go over to... Okay, please, real quick, your question or submission.
Yeah, good evening, His Excellency.
Thank you for always coming up to us. Thank you for giving us the voice.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us the voice. Thank you for being the hope for the hopeless like us. One of the reasons why I stood my ground waiting for you is for me to have this kind of one-on-one conversation with you. I really want to appreciate you. Yeah, the question I want
Thank
to
you.
ask you is this, sir. You knowing Nigerian mandate was stolen, and you sleeping and waking up to see how those who stole our mandate are keep running the country to the ground. How do you feel? What is the hope of a common man like me? Like you said, living this country is not the solution. And it's really tiring and frustrating. How do you
The
feel
hope we
waking up
have
and
is
seeing
to,
all this? Please.
the hope we have is to continue to resist them, to continue to say no to all this. The hope we have is to continue saying no. I've said it repeatedly here that what I'm going through is enough for anybody to say, no, I cannot go through this again. But I'm going through it. You know, I'm at a point where, like I've repeated it several times here, I'm at a point where you wake up one day and I'll not be there. But we must resist it. We must resist it. If we don't, it will consume not just us, but future generations. We must now continue to say no, even if we are remaining just few of us, which is what they want to do now. If I tell you that the amount of money being shared today has never been shared politically in this country, what they are sharing today. And they are sharing it because they want us to run away. They are sharing it because they know they've impoverished the people. So those people who are impoverished are now busy collecting their own money in a manner where they're going to use it to show, oh, these people. So for me, no problem. I can assure you I am there, committed to it, and everything. So do not give up. We'll be there. And if anything goes wrong, please continue. I tell people this. If you hear that anything goes wrong with me, do not join them. They will come with intimidation, they will come with fear, they will come with everything. But that will not bring change. What will bring change is that we will remain together. They will remain together. It's not that when they jail this man or kill this man, everybody runs away. I'm not going to run away. I'm in it, and I'll remain in it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Apologies, guys. We cannot take more speakers right now. We're just going to have the last person here on stage, and then we have to end the space. We've actually exceeded the amount of hours we planned to spend here. And again, I apologize. I'm getting tons and tons and tons of DMs from people, even as I'm speaking. I really apologize. I won't be able to respond right now till after the space. So over to you, Ibrahim. Then when you ask, Your Excellency, after Ibrahim asks, can you please answer his question and then go ahead and give your final submission?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Parallels. But my own is not very low. You have said that we have to come together. We have to stick together. We have to be together. So I think coming together needs a small structure
I'm not hearing you again.
and a small leadership for us to see how we can come
Oh,
together
hold on,
Hello?
to do
hold
whatever
on,
we wants to
Ibrahim.
do.
Ibrahim, can
Hello?
you hold on a little bit? Your Excellency, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me, sir?
I'm hearing you now.
Okay. Ibrahim is speaking next. Let's see if you can hear him.
Okay.
Ibrahim, please go ahead.
Yeah, Excellency, you've been saying that we have to come together, we have to be together, we have to work together. And working together, being together, need like a structure and small leadership, and also what we'll be doing to keep ourselves together, the activities we're supposed to be both online and offline, how we're supposed to, that family mindset that you want us to have, how we, what are we going to put together to bring ourselves more closer? I think Parallel Facts and Violence Space are doing an activity on a weekly basis. What else can we put together just for us to remain one family? And how is the leadership going to be? Are we still going to revert back to you? Are we supposed to select some people around us that to give us leadership, or we just continue to do what we did during the election, everybody to be on this one? Thank you.
Well, these are things that we're going to talk about and work on going forward. We must find a way to remain together, work together, like I said. But this, what you said now, is like a suggestion on things we need to do going forward. We really need to start, finding ways of remaining together, engaged, but it will be something we must do if we must be able to achieve any result that will impact and achieve where we're going, because we have a purpose. It is that purpose that will keep us together. It is that have us to have a loose coordination, maybe people in different zones, in different areas, and everything. No, it wouldn't be just referring only to me. We have to have leadership that is coordinated so that we know we are working. But if we just came out of the election, we're going to do that. We're going to be working with Labour Party, because that is where we are. And then other people who believe in what they're doing, who are not our members, we have to find a way to accommodate everybody to be able to move. But it is not something I can say to you, this is the way, this night, or this way. These are things we have to, other people who come with their different ideas. Remember what I've always said, I don't know everything. Anybody who knows everything to me is an idiot. You learn, you listen to other people. I'm somebody who believes that a leader's job is to always learn, always listen. A leader must be a listener, he must be a learner, but he must be someone who is strong enough to know that you have to implement the right thing, do the right thing, stay on it, even when it's going to be a huge cost to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Would that count as your final submission, or you still want to give a final submission, sir?
Well, let me again appeal, kneeling down to say, please do not give up. Our country is going through a very difficult time. People are suffering. It is not easy for any country to go where over 50% of your population is living under poverty. Almost 3/4 of your population is living under multidimensional poverty. Over 20 million of your population are students out of school. You have almost 40% youth unemployment. It is not easy. And we can't go on like this. We have no other country except this one I'm begging all of you, do not give up on the country. Yes, people might find way to go out, but even if you go out, do not switch off on Nigeria. Remember that your people are here. We're here. We don't want to give up. Let us work as a family. Even if some of us are not there tomorrow, do not give up on Nigeria. It is the only country we have, and we can remain united. Nigeria has all it takes to be a great country. From the north to the west, to the east, to the center, God has blessed this country. All we need is to stay together and work together. I wish all of you all the best as we come to the end of the year, and wish us a great new year next year. I'm sure we'll be talking as often as possible. For the organizers of this, the ladies, you've been wonderful. You know, I don't like when I say men don't like it. My success as a banker, as a governor came when the women were in charge, because they pushed very hard. So I thank you people for hosting this. And I assure you, I promise before, it's going to be every 2 months. It didn't happen, but next year we must do it at least every quarter. At least. It might not be every 2 months, but every quarter. And I'm going to stay engaged through Twitter, through everything. And you can always come across to me through so many people and ask questions when you need. If you're looking for me, there's so many ways you can reach me. Please, and I'll be available. Thank you, and have a wonderful night, evening, day, depending on where you're staying. God bless you. Bless your families always.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that very wonderful final submission. Before we round up, guys, I'm going to pass the mic over to Gloria to speak briefly on parallel facts. Over to you, Gloria.
Thank you so much. I just want to say, Your Excellency, we appreciate you. More people appreciate you than those who do not. One thing we can all agree on is that you prioritize people's welfare and have left such an indelible mark on the landscape of Nigerian politics. We will continue to honor and appreciate your contributions while holding on to the belief that a new Nigeria is truly possible. Thank you so much for honoring us today. On And on behalf of Parallel Facts, we thank you all for coming today. We had, I may be wrong, but I think we had well over 11,000 people tune in. And the space continues. Please continue to share, retweet, DM it, spread the word. PO is here for us, and we appreciate it so much. Our hashtag is Peter Obi on Parallel Facts. Well, you made that trend. We appreciate you so much. And to those whose questions we could not take, we apologize. But please, if you're not following Parallel Facts, if you're not following Parallel Facts News, or rather, if you're not visiting parallelfactsnews.com or following us on all our social media platforms, I just have one question. Why? Why would you deprive yourself of awesome, timely news that strives to focus on facts? Please, on Twitter, we're at Parallel Facts, and that's Parallel Facts with an S. And you can find us on all social media platforms. Just click the link in our bio. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, Gloria, for that. So in conclusion, guys, I just want to appreciate you, Your Excellency. I want to say thank you very much for creating time out of your very busy schedule to come share these hours with us. We are not taking it for granted. We really
Thank you,
appreciate
my
you for
sister.
all. You're welcome, sir. You're very welcome, sir. And to Parallel Facts, thank you very much for hosting this space for us. We really appreciate you, your platform, and everything you do. And my able co-hosts, thank you very much, Mrs. Bolanle. Thank you, Arewachik. And thank you very much, Gloria. Some people are still requesting for the mic. My sincere apology.